I know we are now well into 2023. However, it's taken me a while to film this video. So welcome to 23 books that I want to read in 2023. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel every week and then movie reviews here at the weekend. In the description box, you will find my blog and my Goodreads where I post reviews of most of the things that I read, and I do actually have reviews of a few of these books already. This is the advantage to filming this later on. So all of the books that I talk about will be UK release dates and UK covers that I show unless otherwise specified. They will all be linked in the description box, and if I have posted a review of them, like I have of the one that I'm about to show you here, I will link that as well. So let's kick off. I'm going to go through what month these are released in. So we're going to talk about ones that have already been released and what we've got coming up. Obviously, release dates are subject to change. Thankfully, not as subject to change as they were in the past couple of years, but, you know, don't take my word as gospel. But here we are. Very excited to read all of these. I'll go as quickly as I can. Grab yourself coffee. I've got one over here. Let's go. So, Escape to Darling Cove. This is this is actually the picture of part 2, but it's the same as the cover for the bind-up of all of them. The parts were all released back in 2022, but the bind-up of these was released on the 5th of January 2023. I do have a full review of this one on my blog. Holly Hepburn writes amazing rom-com, and I love reading the different parts as they're coming out, but then when the bind-up comes to you, it's great as well. Then switching it up for a physical book. Oh, here it is next to me here. I have already read this one, but this is The House That Made Us by Alice Kavanagh. When I say I have already read this one, I read this one in the month of February, towards the end of February as well. So this was exciting that I have it over here. Which side am I? I don't know. But yes, this one is A House is More Than Just a Home. It is a lifetime of memories. It features a couple, Mac and Marie, who buy a new house. When they get together, it shows how their life changes over the course of having this house, and it's told through other people looking through a photo album of pictures of them stood on the doorstep of the house, just like in the cover here. So that's very exciting. And this one came out in the UK at the end of January. I want to say the 17th, something like that. But yes, enjoyed this one. And it kind of wasn't on my radar until it got sent to me. So that's very exciting. Always nice when you get book mail that's like, oh yes, actually, this wasn't on my radar up until now. I'm missing one of my February covers. I'll have to have a look for it. So then we have one where I should have read this in the month of February, but I haven't read it yet. So this one is The Daughter-in-Law by Fanny Blake. It came out in the UK on the 16th, 14th, 15th, 16th of February, and the tagline for this one is Secret Second Chances and New Beginnings. And I heard Fanny Blake talking about this one at a Simon & Schuster event back in November, and it sounds really interesting. Being the daughter-in-law is always a complex thing, and so yes, I'm very interested to dive into this one. I am looking to start the audiobook of this one very soon, actually, so watch this space for a review of it coming on my blog and my Goodreads and this channel very, very soon. Then we have one that also came out in the month of February, which is Jojo Moyes, Someone Else's Shoes. I absolutely adored this one. I talked about this one in my February wrap up, so I will leave that video linked up above in case you haven't already seen it. But this one was just so easy to get into, so easy to listen to, so easy to get excited about picking up at the end of the day when you're listening in your car, so easy to listen to whilst I was doing stuff around the house. It was just great, and it's Jojo Moyes and she's amazing. This one came out in the UK in February, and there's the UK cover. there's the US cover. I definitely prefer the UK cover for once, but I thought I would show you both since a couple of these books that are coming out soon. I do have copies of both of the covers. Then a February release that I read in January, we have All My Love by Miranda Dickinson. I love a Miranda Dickinson novel so much. I love Miranda Dickinson as a person as well. She's amazing. But her novels just have so much heart in them. They always feature characters who are a little bit older and a little bit wiser and guide our main characters. And this one features a meet cute involved in post-its. So who doesn't love that? It reminded me of like kind of a You've Got Mail type of thing going back and forth at the beginning with the post-its. I really enjoyed it. And if you're looking for something kind of like cute to escape with, this I couldn't recommend enough. Absolutely amazing. And before reading it, it was one of my most anticipated reads of 2023. Speaking of February releases that I was very excited about reading, we have The Only Suspect by Louise Canlish. I ended up listening to this one on audio, even though I did have a review copy from NetGalley. I ended up waiting and listening to the audio of this one, which was well narrated. Sometimes listening to thrillers can be a little bit difficult, but this one had just reveals going on at the end of every single chapter. It had throwback to the 90s, and then it had a massive reveal that had me literally exclaiming out loud at what had just happened. And I mean, what more do you want from a book other than that? Louise Canlish, The Only Suspect, came out in the UK in February. Very exciting release there. And then a debut novel that I was very excited about reading. This is The Garnet Girls by Georgina Moore, which also came out in February, 16th of February. And this one I listened to on audio as well. I actually had an audio review copy of this one. And this one is literally about the Garnet Girls. We have the kind of matriarch of the family. Then we have the three daughters, and one of them has two daughters as well. And we get to follow them through their lives as kind of secrets from the past are revealed, and kind of old wounds are addressed and dealt with, sometimes reopened and sometimes healed. And this was a debut novel. This one, I listened to the audiobook. I think this one might work better as a ebook or a physical book, just because I sometimes lost track of who was who as we were reading. And I think that if I'd seen the names on the page, it might have been easier for me to remember who was who. It just took me for a while to connect with the characters, just because I was like, which Garnet girl are we talking about now? And then we have This Could Be Everything by Ava Rice, which I do also have a review of on my blog already. This is a coming of age story, and the kind of tagline is, when hope flies in the window, all you have to do is follow. And I read that this one was a coming of age story, and I just couldn't describe it as anything better than a coming of age story. A little bit like the Louise Canlish. We have a throwback to the 1990s, and this one reminds me a little bit of How to Build a Girl by Caitlin Moran, in that kind of like coming of age in the 90s, being really into music kind of thing. And then in March, we have The Girl from Donegal by Carmel Harrington. I have interviewed Carmel a couple of times on the channel. I have pre-ordered the audiobook of this one, and I'm very excited to start reading it. I don't really know a lot about it because Carmel has become an auto-buy author for me. But the tagline here is 2 continents, 3 generations, 1 unimaginable secret. And what Carmel does really well in her books is writes across multiple continents, multiple like locations. We've had Ireland and America, we've had Ireland and I want to say Australia, but it might have been New Zealand, and sort of a major city in one and a small town in another, and that kind of contrast. So I'm excited to listen to this one. Then in April, we have The Book Lovers Retreat by Heidi Swain, which I'm very excited about reading. This is a very different kind of standalone from her. One long summer, one perfect setting. Can fiction inspire real life? I mean, I'm just unbelievably excited about this one, and I am on the blog tour for it as well, so make sure you're following my blog. As I say, it's linked in the description box, but I think I'm on the blog tour for this one mid-April. Think this is just before that this one comes out, but yes, we heard Heidi Swain talking about this one at the Simon & Schuster event as well, and I'm just really excited because it just sounds amazing. It's a book about books, it's a book about book lovers, it's a book by Heidi Swain. What more could you want? She writes a lovely rom-com, and I'm just very excited about it. Then we have Between Us by Valerie McFarlane. I'm a little bit behind on her work, and so I'm like, right, I'm committing to wanting to read this one in 2023. So Some Secrets Are Meant to Be. I haven't got a review copy of this one because, as I say, I've missed out on her last couple of books. It's funny, I was talking about this one in my June TBR, this author in my June TBR a couple of years ago, and I just happened to watch that video of mine the other day. It kind of was like interesting because I talk about how funny she is and how amazing she is, and like, why do I not keep up with her books? Because I really want to read this one, and so I just need to make sure that I'm reading that one this year. Maybe I'll make it a buddy read with Hayley, because we have buddy read one of her books before. Then another buddy read that we did, that I have already read, that comes out in April. This is Only Love Can Hurt Like This by Paige Toon. Very exciting. Look out for a review of this one coming on my blog soon. I didn't want to post it too soon, too far ahead. An earth-shattering secret, a life-changing love story. And this one is going to be hard to review because it's going to be hard to talk about without any spoilers. But I loved buddy reading it with Hayley. It has that like Paige Toon feeling about it, literally from the first page, from the word go. You're intrigued by these characters, you're rooting for these characters, and it's Paige Toon loveliness all wrapped up in a wonderful, not so much rom-com, but just a lovely story. And it didn't make me cry, so we're okay, we're all right. This wasn't one of the Paige Toons that made me cry. Then a buddy read that I am doing with Hayley. We are reading this one in the month of March, even though it is an April release. We're trying to get a bit of a head start. And this one is Preloved by Lauren Bravo, which comes out at the end of April, 27th of April. Features a character who's a little bit like everything's at a bit of a crossroads. So she decides to go and volunteer in her local charity shop. And I think it teaches her more than she expected it to. So this one's going to be really interesting. I do need to tab it up because we are literally about to start buddy reading it. So I have read Lauren Bravo's non-fiction, 436 pages, there we go. I need to divide that up by 7. I have read Lauren Bravo's non-fiction, but this is her first novels. This is technically a debut novel. So I'm very excited to read it, and it is a signed copy because I did meet her at the Simon & Schuster event and get to hear her read a little extract and kind of pitch her book a little bit and have my question about how they would feel about putting Christmas trees up early answered as well. So very, very exciting. And now we're already on to May. How can that be the case? Already on to May. So firstly, we have another funny lady, a funny author. We have Falling for You by Debbie Johnson. Debbie Johnson is somebody that my mum and I really enjoy reading and listening to and meeting. Sometimes it takes life falling apart to piece it back together, and there's a camper van on the front and there's a bit of sea on the front there, and that's what we know about this book. It's going to be amazing because it's a Debbie Johnson novel, and that comes out in May in the UK. Then I just found the cover for this one, so I'm very excited because on my blog at the minute it's just like a cover TBD, you know. And this is The Cassandra Complex by Holly Smale. Now I have a review copy of this one. I am intending to read it very soon because I'm just very excited about it because I love a Holly Smale novel, love the Geek Girl series. Then I got into the whole like Valentine's series, Hollywood Valentines. It's a bit like the Kardashians, and I enjoyed that. So I'm excited to read The Cassandra Complex. It looks quite different. One woman, one bad day, endless chances to put it right. And again, because Holly Smale is just a sort of author for me, I don't know a lot about it, but I'm loving this, like the card on the TV when the TV would go off and there's the girl with the chalk, but instead there's a girl reading a book in a clock. So that's quite cool. I quite like that. And then moving on to June, I feel like I've missed one in May, but you can let me know in comments if I have. Firstly, we have a not great copy of the cover of The Beach Holiday by Isabel Broom. But then I'm not sure if this is the final copy, the final cover even, because this is the first time I've seen this one as well when I was searching for it to show you here. This one comes out in June, and it's going to be a I wouldn't say summer to remember, but even I can't read that. So, yes, Isabel Broom does the amazing job of taking us off to faraway places through her novels. So she travels and her character travels, so we don't have to. She has taken me to some amazing locations, and kind of getaway reading is what she is known for, as well as some lovely rom-coms with heart. And again, she's an amazing writer and an amazing person. So I'm excited to read this one when it comes out in June. And then now, this is going to sound like a bit of a backhanded compliment, but I'm excited that this is this author's first standalone novel, because I wasn't a huge fan of her series that she wrote, which surrounded a kind of vet, doctor, there was a whole thing. But what a difference a year could make. Maybe Tomorrow by Penny Parks. So again, love listening to Penny Parks as an author. I think that her writing's great, but I just didn't necessarily gel with the last series. And so it's really exciting for me that she's written a standalone coming out in June. I'm just excited to read what I know is going to be wonderful writing and wonderful storytelling, where I don't have to be bothered by the fact that it's, you know, the third or the fourth in a series. It's a standalone. I'm very excited, and I'm loving the cover. This is the first time I've seen the cover for this as well. It's just, again, we've got a cup of tea and a leg up. It's all about the leg up on these covers today, isn't it? Looking out of a window, somebody's drawing under a tree. It's very simple. It's very nice. I'm excited to read it. So, yeah, looking forward to that one immensely. Then we have a couple of favourite authors of mine who have books coming out in July. Basically, all of my favourite authors have books coming out in July. Firstly, we have Love Me Do by Lindsay Kelk, which does not have a cover yet, which is absolutely fine. And I'm just excited about that. I feel like a July release is a bit of a departure for Lindsay Kelk, though. Could this mean that we have something else coming later on in the year? I feel like sometimes we have... So, yeah, there's definitely a release somewhere near the summer holidays with her, but hopefully it'll mean a UK tour as well. So we're excited for that. Love Me Do, rom-com, Lindsay Kelk. I have a whole Lindsay Kelk playlist. I'll leave it linked up above if I haven't already run out of links. Speaking of authors that I have a playlist for, I also have a playlist of Lisa Jewell videos, because None of This Is True comes out in July 2023 here in the UK. I'm pretty sure that this is this the UK cover? And then this is the US cover? No, this must be the UK cover. And this is the US cover. Is this what's going on here? Yes, this one has no tagline on, but kind of like, I love the fuzzy writing and I love the houses roundabout. And then this one definitely has more of a look of, maybe this is the UK cover, Her Lies Could Kill You. And then that's what we've got. I know nothing about this one. It's going to be a Lisa Jewell thriller. That's going to be amazing. And that's all I need to know, really. As I say, I have a whole Lisa Jewell playlist if you're looking for some more to read. But yeah, which cover's your favourite? This one or this one? I feel like this has just got more about it. Speaking of authors who are favourites of mine, with books coming out in July, we have A Song of Me and You by Mike Gale. Again, I'm really sorry. These auto-buy authors of mine, I don't know a lot about their books, because I'm just like, it's going to be amazing because they're auto-buy authors. From First Love to Second Chances, question mark. And just the two birds on the cover with the sunshine. I am just intrigued. I did just request this one on NetGalley, so I'm hoping it comes soon. So I'm always excited for a Mike Gale novel. And then from a load of favourite authors of mine to a debut that I'm excited about that comes out in July. This one is Talking at Night by Claire Daverley. This is the UK cover. I love the cereal bowl on here. It's just giving me full Talking at Night vibes. And then this is the US cover. Very different vibes. What do you think? This is the US and this is the UK. What do we think? Difference between the two? I like both. This is very like trendy vibes, love the cereal, but this is just really different. Like, this is actual people on it. So yes, I'm excited to read this one. This is a bit more kind of literary fiction, general fiction, as opposed to a rom-com, but it's a debut, and normally they're not so much on my radar, but this is one of the 23 books that I want to read in 2023. And then finally, I don't have a cover for this one because it doesn't come out till September, so there is not a cover for this one, but we have a new Beth O'Leary coming in September, and this one is The Wake Up Call. There's still no cover for it. Very excited about reading it though. Let me see if I can find a synopsis for you, and rather than just being rubbish and be like, I don't know what this book is about because it's just an author by author. But I'm always excited for a Beth O'Leary novel. I have a book versus movie, not book versus movie. I have a review of one of hers, don't I? And then the flat share, unfortunately, is only on Paramount Plus, and so I don't have, I haven't had access to watch that one. But it's meant to be amazing, so I'm quite excited about this one. Two hotel receptionists and arch rivals find a collection of old wedding rings and compete to return them to their owners, discovering their own love story along the way. Well, that's exciting, isn't it? That sounds amazing. Beth O'Leary does these kind of like two, like, it's not always a dual narrative, but it's kind of two stories along the way. And in the Switch, we kind of had multi-generational, and then in the flat share, we had the kind of meet cute aspect to it. So I'm excited that we've got two hotel receptionists competing to return wedding rings to their owners. I'm excited about that. So please do let me know in comments what you are most excited about reading in 2023. Have you read any of the books that I've talked about that have already come out, or have had early access to the other ones? What do you make of the difference between the UK and the US covers? Because obviously both came up along with searches. I think most of them give completely different vibes where you've got the UK and the US one. I think they almost look like completely different books. So that's really interesting. And make sure you are subscribed so that you don't miss out on reviews and views of all of them coming up on the channel. As I say, written reviews will be on my blog and my Goodreads, so you can look there for those. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on my next video coming your way very soon. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you with my next one. Thanks for watching.